Okay. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Tara Tomchuk. I'm editor-in-chief at Blind and Square Books, and I want to say thank you for coming to the launch of Wendy Tokunaga's latest novel, Brenda Barker's Next Chapter. For those of you who haven't read anything about it, it's long story short, it's a really funny, it's just such a cute novel about a woman who her husband has passed away and she's just kind of trying to figure out how to start over. And she goes to a writing conference, which is, of course, close to my heart, which is really why I fell in love with it right away. It's so funny and the characters are so well drawn. You're really going to love it. So I'm going to keep it simple and short, and I'm going to turn it over to Wendy, and she's going to read a little bit. Once she's done, then I'll ask her a couple of questions to kind of kick us off, and then I'm going to turn it over to the rest of you to ask whatever's on your mind. So, welcome, and Wendy, take it away.
Okay, well, thank you. I'm going to read from the very beginning of the book, and I hope you enjoy it. It's a man's voice coming from behind. Young lady, he says. Young lady, give me a break. I'm in a hurry. There's no way I'm going to be late for the most important meeting of my life. I've spent over an hour getting here, a trip that should have taken 30 minutes tops. I can't help that I've got an abysmal sense of direction and that the stupid GPS woman sent me to Millbrook Cemetery instead of Millbrook College. Young lady! He's nearly on top of me now. Okay, buddy. Yes, I say. This man in a tan raincoat, probably no older than 50, holds a blue umbrella with a pink flamingo handle. My umbrella. You drop this. He hands it over. Thanks. Sorry, I'm late for a meeting. No worries. Have a nice day. He walks off, but not before giving me a smile and a wink. Young lady. Why would he call me young lady? And why do I feel now so, well, deflated? As in maybe my meeting is going to suck. That man knows I'm not a young lady. It's just like the other day at the Palmer's Pantry meat counter. After I ordered a 2-pound Cornish hen, the butcher said, "Anything else, ma'am?" And when I said no, he addressed the next old lady customer with, "What can I do for you, miss?" So I'm a ma'am and she's a miss. Something's amiss, all right, and it ain't me. Why is my local butcher making snap judgments about customer ages? I stewed about this for much too long afterwards. I'm 64. There's no question that I'm a ma'am. Yet, as Maynard, my dear late Hubs, would have said, it really grinds my gears. But there's no time now for stewing or grinding. Looking at the building in front of me, I'm finally in the right place. Millbrook College's Farnsworth Hall. I go inside, make a left, and halfway down the corridor, I find the office of Edwina Habersham, the head of the creative writing department. A student receptionist instructs me to sit in the cramped waiting area adjacent to Miss Habersham's office. In addition to her teaching duties and role as managing editor of the college's literary magazine, the Mildew Pond Review, Edwina Habersham provides editorial critiques on fiction manuscripts for a hefty fee. I sent Edwina the first 50 pages of my magnum opus, The Hungry Goddess. Now, normally I wouldn't use such an expression to refer to my own novel, but this is how my friend Leanne describes it. Leanne, who led me kicking and screaming to contact Edwina, insisting that she would feel the same about my book, which would result in Edwina introducing me to a literary agent or even a publisher. This is how things work in the literary world, Leanne explained. And I took her word for it because I don't know Jimmy Jack about the literary world. Brenda, Brenda Barker, an imposing woman opens the door. Her dour expression, short salt and pepper hair, and gray tweed poncho make her a cross between Mary Todd Lincoln and Dorothy from the Golden Girls. Yes, I stand at attention. Come in and sit down, she says, as if she's about to add, I don't have all day. Edwina's office is filled with books, flowering succulents, and various framed diplomas and awards hanging on the walls. Her desk is as precise, prim, and proper as she is. In a far corner stands a sculpture of three staggered stone basins, water trickling over each one. The sound is supposed to offer a soothing ambience. Good Lord, I hope it doesn't make me have to pee. Edwina puts on her tortoise-shell framed reading glasses and rifles through what I recognize as my pages, dog-eared and blood-stained with red ink. And I'm like, an introduction to a literary agent is probably not on the agenda. I won't mince words, she says. These pages need a lot of work. Perhaps you've bitten off a little more than you can chew. She pauses. Can I ask you something? Yes. She removes her glasses, which are attached to a chain that looks like it's made of teeny tiny gummy bears. Have you ever taken a creative writing course? No. Edwina nods slowly. I know what she's thinking. No surprise there. Leanne, why did I ever let you force me into consulting with Edwina Habersham? Edwina goes on talking with a litany of complaints. Flat characters, a confusing plot, bizarre jumps in time, point of view issues, overuse of adverbs. In other words, every rookie mistake an amateur would make. Please make it stop. This was a very, very bad idea to have someone like Edwina Snobbysham read my feeble attempts at creative writing. Why did I even think I could write? Obviously, I have zero talent. What else can I do but change the subject? Ms. Habersham, what do you think of the Sky Ridge Writers' Conference? Edwina looks taken aback, as if she can't imagine how this pathetic old woman, this woman who laughingly calls herself a writer, would even know about such a thing. Sky Ridge? It's one of the most well thought of writers' conferences in the entire country. They only accept applicants with the highest level of potential. Why do you ask? I was thinking of applying, and I just wondered. Edwina offers what she probably believes is a kind smile. Sky Ridge is extremely difficult to get into, and I'm afraid she doesn't continue. Anyway, I've written copious notes on your pages. Please read them carefully. She clips them together. If you have any questions, you can email me. I feel it's a bit of the proverbial cart before the horse. As I said, you might do well to take a writing class. Perhaps they offer one at the senior center in your town. Senior center? Yes, I'm ancient, and everyone seems to be noticing that lately. But really, Edwina Knickers in a twist sham must be pushing 55 herself. AARP would have surely already have her retired and playing shuffleboard on a princess cruise. Thank you for your time. I grab my manuscript and stuff it in my purse. Exiting the doors of Farnsworth Hall, I walk briskly toward the parking lot and toss my pages into the first garbage can I see. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
swear, like when I read that the first time, I know that editor. I know that woman.
Relate to
She's,
it.
and I think some of you on the screen also know this, not, you know what I mean, that character, that type of character. We've all encountered this person. So it definitely reads true. Thank you for reading. I'm going to ask just a couple of quick questions to get us started, but if anybody feels they want to jump in, feel free to raise your hand or just unmute yourself and talk. So to get started, Wendy, tell us what inspired you to write the book. Was there a specific moment or a person who sparked the idea for you?
Well, I wanted to write about what I've been so involved in the past, decades is the writing world. And I wanted to kind of make a satire about it. I was kind of inspired by, Christopher Guest movies, like Best in Show and those kind of things. And and doing that with the writing world. But I also wanted to write about late bloomers and people who might have been discouraged from pursuing their creative pursuits when they were younger for whatever reason. Like Brenda Barker in my book, when she was newly married, she'd always had the dream of wanting to be a published novelist. And when she was, very young and married, she mentioned it to her husband. She said, I'm thinking of writing a novel. And he says, "You write a book? Who'd want to read a book by you?" And it's kind of like not being mean so much, but it's like this guy, he's never known any writers. Why, it's just like unbelievable to him. So unfortunately, that just kind of quashes her dream for a long time, and she just lets it go. And I like that idea of, I wanted to convey in this book that no one should tell you that you're either too young or too old or not creative enough to pursue whether it's a writer or an artist.
I love that. Okay. Brenda herself is really such a vivid and relatable character. She's so funny. Did she like, how did her voice come to you? Was she kind of fully formed when first had the idea for the book, or did she kind of develop as you were writing her?
Well, actually, I started this book probably about 5 years ago, and originally it had three main characters and had their three third person voices. And these characters are all, and one of the characters was Brenda. And these characters all are still in the book. But after I'd worked with a developmental editor, I'd queried the book and I got feedback, and I thought I really need to, maybe develop Brenda's character. And so I put her in first person in a very intimate voice. And I also wanted to tackle the issue of ageism too. And, all the things that she encounters being not only just an older person, but an older person who's pursuing this dream, this new thing that she wants to do, and that can be very challenging. So the voice, yeah, evolved that way, and then I just infused as much humor as I could, and then the result is the book now.
To what extent would you say that your own experiences or the experiences of anybody maybe that you know, especially within writing, how much did it influence Brenda's story? Like, is it autobiographical in any way?
Well, a lot of the things that happen in this book, like at the writers' conference and everything, either have happened to me or not exactly, they're exaggerated, or happened to writers I've known, or, it's so yeah. Um, I think I'm also considered a late bloomer. I got my MFA in my early 50s. I started writing fiction, short fiction in my late 30s. So I did do music when I was younger, so I was pursuing a creative outlet. But you know, I I guess I consider myself a late bloomer. And I also wanted to put in with the character that a person who always perseveres no matter what comes her way. And I wanted to encourage people that way, through Brenda. And I was kind of like that. And I'm not sure why I persevered so much. It took me a long time to get published originally, but I just kept going. And so I guess so that part is definitely autobiographical.
The writers' conference, Sky Ridge, that you talk about in the book, it's the setting is it's really just rich and it's believable. You really feel like you're there. Have you ever attended similar conferences? I think you kind of touched on it a little bit, but obviously you must have attended something to have that in your mind. So just tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, yeah, I have gone to writers' conferences, and I don't want to say this Sky Ridge is based on a particular conference because it's wild and crazy what happens, and it's, for entertainment, it's like you make things kind of exaggerated. But um, I did go to the Community of Writers conference. It used to be called the Squaw Valley Writers Conference. And it takes place it's set in Lake Tahoe, which is a beautiful resort area in California. It's a ski resort. And I went to that twice. And one thing that was different about that conference was we stayed, the attendees stayed in vacation homes and had roommates because the conference takes place in the summer. So the people who live there in the winter for the skiing, they rented out their homes. So I was living with several roommates, people I didn't know. They just put you together. And I kind of took that and really exaggerated in the Sky Ridge. Um, but I think also if you go to, there's many different types of writers' conferences. There's the type where you just go, maybe you stay in a hotel and then you go to, go to talks and, go workshops or whatever. And you're kind of pretty much on your own. But I think these kind where it's almost a retreat, like what I was at the Community of Writers Conference. You're there for about 7 days, and you get to leave if you're lucky enough, you leave your life behind for 7 days. And you kind of become, you can say, well, I'm a writer now. I'm devoting these 7 days to writing. I'm I'm wearing a new persona. And that can create, some epiphanies and some wonderful things, but it can also create all this self-doubt. It's like, am I doing the right thing? And then you're comparing yourself to all these other people at the conference, and some might be further along in their writing careers than you. And, it just runs the gamut. So I really liked exploring that idea because you really can become a whole different person when you go to these writers' conferences for like a week out of your life. You leave your regular life behind.
Okay, last one for me, and then I'm going to turn it over to the rest of the group. This one really hit me, this question, when I thought of it. Food plays a pretty important role in the book, both in the course of the novel itself and also in the book that the main character Brenda wrote, The Hungry Goddess. Um, why do you think food is such, a powerful storytelling tool?
Well, I guess everybody has to eat. Um, but some people love food in certain ways, and other people just eat, just to eat, And Brenda and I have that in common. We're both really foodies, but Brenda lives in a place where there's not a lot of opportunity to eat, maybe, creative, kind of beautifully presented food. She lives in a town that just mainly has like Applebee's and those kind of places, and she doesn't like those. She really yearns for, something that goes beyond that and is more creative. And it's part of her, I think, creative drive too. So when she gets to go to the California wine country for this writers conference, it's not only great to go to a writers conference, but she's in a place, the wine country is just full of wonderful food and creativity and chefs who are experimenting. And as you said, her book is also about food. So I think there's a quote from Julia Child, something like, the most interesting people are the ones who love to eat. And so I kind of maybe believe that too. And I'm a unabashed foodie myself. I'm even going tomorrow. We're going to the wine country to eat.
That's great. If anybody, I'm opening it up to the group now. So anybody has a question, either just unmute yourself or raise your hand, whatever, or pop it in the chat if you want me to read it, whatever you like.
I'm going to pop in.
Please do.
Hi, Wendy. Thank you so much for that reading. I feel very excited about this. I didn't know what to expect when I logged on, but I love the premise. I love all the themes. There are things that my husband and I talk about all the time, just everything from the ageism to being treated a certain way when you're older. And then the settings are very, very compelling. You know, obviously all of us here are writers, and so I think we can probably all relate to these moments that we've had at conferences or retreats or whatever, that we're, like you said, that take us out of our daily life and allow us to take on this, not a new persona, but the persona of a writer. And I feel like that step is huge for a lot of people, to move from whatever it was that we saw ourselves as before to being, okay, I am a writer, and it's big and meaningful. So I just wanted to say bravo, and I look forward to reading the book very much. And I love that it's comedic. I think that's fabulous. Just a great way to discuss all these things in a way that's playful. So thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate your comments.
Anne?
Hi.
Hi.
That was a great reading. And I just want to
Oh,
say,
there's both answer,
Oh,
both
there's two
answer
Anns. Go
at the same
ahead.
time.
so
That's all right.
I
sorry.
didn't realize, sorry.
Wow, there's two of us. I haven't been in a room with two Anns in a while.
Not
We're
since I
probably
was
in
in
the same.
elementary school. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess just going on from Jana, talking about the comedic, it's also just so showing how pain and humor go together so well, because it really was quite painful, um, in a delicious way.
Yes, well, I think, yeah, all of us who are writers know the pain of rejection or bad comments or discouragement. And somehow, I guess we love writing too much to give it up, and we just keep going. But I mean, why would you do it? It's so painful sometimes. Why would you do it unless you just have to love it, I guess.
Other Anne?
Sure. I was going to ask you, without giving too much away, is there sort of a scene or a moment in the book that's your favorite, either that you really enjoyed writing, or that when you kind of think about it now that you feel really good about? I mean, obviously it's all brilliant, but
Thank you. Thank you. And it's a writer friend of mine, and she's been very helpful with me, guiding me along the way of promoting my book. Um, gosh, a favorite thing. I guess I really liked poking fun of all these things that happen at the writers' conference. I tried to, there's like this pompous author, uh, and then also these people who just become just, so desperate, desperate for success, and then people telling you, well, you're gonna fail unless you have a platform, and all these things that I've been through for many years, hearing these things, the ups and downs people have in their writing life, and going to these conferences. I mean, I went to so many conferences and workshops and classes, and you just sometimes feel like giving up. But then there's just this spark that makes you keep going. So I guess the actual what's going on at the writers' conference is probably what I enjoyed the most.
Um, Rich, and then we have a
Hey,
question, then we have also we have one in the chat after that. But
okay.
Rich, you go
Hey,
first.
Wendy.
Hi,
Uh,
Rich. Thank you for coming.
so you bet. It's a pleasure. So, there's this there's this whole genre of writers writing about writers, and it's really tempting for all of us, I think. I love it. I love uh, that kind of, genre. Were there other books of writers writing about writers that you have enjoyed or helped inspire you, or that
I don't think so much. In fact, I was kind of discouraged from writing about writers and the writing world. Um, And somebody told me, like, I was querying agents for this book and I got some interest, but they wanted more of Brenda's romantic life. You know, there is some romance in this book, so if you like romance, yeah, she's got, you know, she just has a wonderful time at this conference. Wonderful and terrible, I guess. But so they said, yeah, so I felt like they don't want to hear all about making fun of a publishing world or about writers, you know, behaving badly or all the things that go on. Um, and then someone said to me just recently, oh, maybe traditional the big publishers, they they're not inclined to want to publish a book like yours. And it's a small press like Blyden Square
Yeah.
Books that got very enthusiastic. And I don't know why I didn't think of that before. I think Tara has worked in the publishing world, the traditional world and traditional publishing world. And boy, you know, it can be a nightmare. So they're the people. She's the one who embraced the book. I was so pleased. She's so enthusiastic. So there might be something to that. But no, I don't. I haven't really read a lot of any books I can think of off the top of my head that are about writers in this way, about publishing and such.
Well, it's fun to do as a writer, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's why it was fun. Yes.
From the
Thanks.
chat, Renee asks, what has been the most rewarding aspect of the entire process?
The process of writing the book and getting it published. Well, I hadn't been published traditionally for quite a while, so it's just wonderful to have that opportunity, and it's wonderful to connect with other writers and to connect with people who kind of feel all that angst along the way, you know, in the long road to getting published. And it's all been really great. And I'm really excited that there's, you know, I also got excited because Tara, you know, arranged for these people to audition for the audiobook, and we selected a narrator, and she's just so wonderful. And it's so exciting. When I was published before, I mean, I don't think there were that many audiobooks at the time, especially for novels, unless you were a famous author, maybe. I mean, now it's like there's audiobook for everything. And just hearing another person, you know, bring these characters to life, and then she's, you know, on the same page as me, so to speak, is just thrilling. So that's been a very rewarding part of the process.
Lori, and I think you have your hand up.
Uh, yeah, what do you plan to do for promotion?
Oh, okay. Down to brass tacks. Yeah. Yeah, good question. Good question. Well, what I've done so far, well, one thing I appreciate very much from Blind Square Books is that they don't feel like, well, if you don't promote everything, do everything, and kill yourself in the first 3 weeks, the book is dead. You know, because that's the message you get in the traditional publishing world. You have to, you know, plan a year ahead, 6 months ahead, this and this and this. So I'm very grateful for that. Um, so far, I mean, it's just kind of started. You know, I didn't do a lot of things in advance. You know, the book just came out on Monday, and already I've done interview with the local news reporter, and I've got something set up with that. I'm doing some blog tours that I found out about. I just was interviewed for a podcast that's I really recommend if you're interested. It's called The Long Road to Publication, and this woman interviews writers about, you know, their journey of how they got published and the ups and downs. And the stories are really incredible. And her name is Eva Langston. And I just recorded a podcast with her just the other day. We might be doing some, you know, event in my local area with other writers and literary people. Um, and have pitched some articles and such, but I'm still working on it. And I'm going to be at the San Francisco Writers Conference. It's a conference I participate in. I participated in for many years. I'm going there next week. I'm doing a book signing there, and it's the first time in a long time that I've had a book to promote there, so that's very exciting. I usually go there and I'm a panelist, and then I also am an editorial consultant, and people come who attend the conference, and I read some of their pages and give them feedback and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing so far. I plan to do more, but I'm not, things will come as they come.
So,
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Sue. I know it says SM. That's an author name, but my name is Sue. Anyway, Wendy, that was a really, really entertaining reading. And it's clear that you have a very funny voice, a really strong, funny voice. And the touch seemed kind of lighthearted, but I'm pretty sure there's some heavy stuff under the surface. So I'm definitely intrigued. My question is, did you know when you sat down to write that that's the style or the tone that you wanted kind of light and funny, funny, funny? Or did you sort of come to that as you were writing?
Well, I definitely wanted to be satirical. And as I said, or maybe I don't know if you heard it, I was talking about how, yeah, I did start concentrating on Brenda's voice, and I wanted her to be funny and kind of irreverent and self-deprecating. And yet underneath, yeah, there's a lot of pain underneath her, and there's a lot of pain in trying to, make it as a writer. And and she's a recent widow too, and she feels kind of a little guilty that, I mean, she's not quite, the way it is, but she felt a little freeing not having her husband around, and she's on her own. There's no one there to discourage her or to approve or disapprove. So I think that the humor kind of balances nicely with the more poignant parts, of which I think there are. It's kind of a combination of both, I'm hoping.
anybody else?
I had a big smile on my face when you were reading that on the writer stuff. That was just brilliant. And I've heard almost those same comments, but what I think was really interesting was this. I never really thought about the ageism stuff. I mean, I almost got in a fist fight with the lady that cut my hair because she tried to give me the senior discount. And I just, I don't, aren't you a senior? I don't want the discount. I just didn't. So I think you found this amazing niche that is just, I'm eager to read it. It was just, I was laughing out loud as you were reading it.
Thank you.
It's just brilliantly done.
I'm glad to hear you say that. First of all, about the ageism, because I think, I mean, it's hard, maybe for some men to relate to, of some of the types of ageism that women are. Just the fact that, ma'am and miss, there's two ways of calling a woman, and maybe other men get called sir all of a sudden. Like all of a sudden, people are calling them sir, and it might be
Right.
you know.
Yeah, but give me the senior discount.
No, no, I don't want the senior discount. In fact, I should give you more.
But
You should charge me more
But
because I'm
Everett,
at this thing. No, I don't want the senior discount.
no, Everett, you're the first person I've met who agrees with me about senior discount.
No.
And I have so much mixed feelings about that. And I've not gotten in fights with people, but I've refused it sometimes.
Yeah.
And they look at me like, I have two heads. And I understand that in some way, but I also think, why is this just based on my age? Like when I was, let's say, for example, yesterday, maybe I was 64 and now I'm 65. Okay, so now I get
Right.
$3 off or something like that. I know it's obviously marketing and it's not, out of this altruistic thing or whatever. And there are people obviously on fixed incomes who can use a discount.
Yep.
But there are people under 65 or under 52 who are on hard times. So I have very mixed feelings about that. I'm so glad to hear you say that.
Yeah,
Sometimes
and it's funny, and I never really
people think
thought
I'm
about it
nuts.
much
Are you
until
crazy?
you brought it up. I mean, I had a guy come door to door to the house trying to sell windows or something, and he called me boss. And I'm going, when anyone younger than me doesn't get to call me boss. It. So it's very interesting. I never really thought about it until you
I
read that.
I'm glad it resonated with you because I know some people will just shake their heads and say, "Oh, you're just, people are just like if someone calls me dear or something. Oh, well, they're just being nice." But I feel that, no matter what age, my dream is that no matter what age, and certainly young people suffer ageism too. It's not just older people. I just want people to relate to each other as people.
Sure.
And I don't think age really needs to matter too often. Obviously, sometimes it does, but I just don't think people have to be, treated differently or have a term of endearment given to them. It's patronizing to me, whether it's a young person or an older person. So anyway, yay, yay. I did put that in the book.
I have a question for Tara and Wendy both. Can you talk about the process for deciding what the cover was going to be? I think that's an interesting conversation always.
Well, I think I asked Wendy what she was thinking, and Wendy sent me some sample covers that of things she had liked.
Right.
We really wanted to look like women's fiction, and be kind of colorful and cheerful. And yeah, I don't know. What else? What
Well,
do you remember?
well, yeah, initially I just sent you some because I wanted the book to look, commercial and stuff as far as,
Yeah.
but I guess what
I
was so
haven't seen the cover. I'm trying to.
yeah, what's so interesting is that I specifically didn't want Brenda depicted on the book, her face, so the book is just her off to the side typing, you don't really see her. And the first initial rendering after Tara had sent it to the artist was of this woman who was obviously the last thing I wanted. I mean, sometimes you see these things like, I don't know, marketing materials, all things, you know, an older woman is someone with wire glasses and a gray bun, you know, and that means older woman, I certainly didn't want that. Well, this artist, um, I don't know, it's a man or a woman, but it doesn't matter.
It's a man, yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
created a person who was kind of a modern older woman and such, and had her full face, and she had her hair up. I think she had a pencil in her hair or something like
So,
that. And
yeah.
she was typing, and there was nothing wrong with it as far as the artistic talent of it, but that was not what I wanted at all. First of all, I don't want people to think this is what she looks like, because she can look like anything you want her to look like in your mind. Um, and then yeah, we did say no, and we wanted a different color scheme than what that
Yeah.
came up too. But yeah, I wanted it to look accessible. It is a humorous book, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't touch on serious issues. But covers are, they're a tough thing because people see something of bright colors and things like that. They go, "Oh, it's a romance." Whatever,
Yeah.
you know. Unless it's some, very serious, dour looking cover, artistic or something.
I think
That's
the cover choice is such an interesting process to me.
yeah.
And I saw this cover and I instantly knew, okay, it's women's fiction. it's got a comedic edge to it, and it would be a good beach read. And like it says all those three things.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you,
good.
Rich.
Good, because that's what we were hoping for.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm very pleased with the cover. I really like
Yeah,
it.
I was happy with it in the end. So,
Right.
anybody else? I can't see that. Oh, okay. So Rich had to go. Okay. I'm looking in the chat.
Really appreciate. Thank you.
All right. Well, if nobody has any more questions, I guess we'll wrap it up. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming. And Wendy, congratulations. I'm really excited to see,
Thank you.
I see this one goes. It's really, it's so much fun. I really recommend that you all read it. It's not letting, I wanted to put the link in the chat, but of course, because I'm recording, it says I can't minimize to go get the link. So, it's on Amazon, although Amazon's been having a weird glitch lately. So if you have trouble, like sometimes it tells you you can't you can't deliver to whatever address you're trying to do, and it's any address. If that happens, feel free to order it on our website.
Actually, I found that bookshop.org is even faster than Amazon is.
Yeah, it's available everywhere.
Well,
So
that supports independent bookstores, so that's another alternative. Yeah, bookshop.
absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Well, thank you all so much for coming.
Appreciate your support.
And
thank you so much, Tara, for doing this.
thank you, Wendy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for coming. I really appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Have a good night. Have a great weekend.
Bye.
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 Bye now.